Good morning and welcome to Collin and Curtis in the morning. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here in southern Los Angeles, where I am joined in our studio with Collin. Collin, how are you doing?
Well, hold on real quick. I gotta get my waffles out of the toaster. I gotta get my I lost the maple syrup.
I'll stall for you.
I guess I'll start with this. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. For the record, we are not located in Los Angeles, but I felt like that was a good intro.
Yeah,
we're just going with it. So welcome back. This is the third episode of Collin and Curtis in the morning. And you know what? I don't think we have any corrections from last week.
Yay!
Yeah, so look at us. We're doing good.
Yes.
I'm sure that's going to last for a long time. So we're just going to jump into it. We have a decent chunk of news this week, so Collin, you're going to take the first half.
Yeah, so let's start off with the Castlegain coming to PS4 on August 4th. We got this announcement just a few days ago.
Mm-hmm. And you played this, right?
Yes, I played it at PAX Prime last August, so almost like a year ago. I enjoyed it. It's a tower defense-based game where you can kind of build. You don't have like a certain area where you can like build only specific towers.
Mm-hmm.
You can it's kind of an open landscape that you can put towers and walls anywhere you want. So that's kind of. I mean, I like that kind of aspect.
Is there like a main thing that you're kind of protecting? Is there like a central object that you're trying to protect? Or?
Yeah, basically you have from what I remember, you have kind of like your home base, and you just kind of protect that. I think you actually have some people you have to protect also,
Okay.
But you can basically build a maze for enemies to run through. So like they'll take the long way to get to your base, but there's also some enemies that'll straight up destroy your defenses, and it's kind of cool that everything that you can build is also destructible.
Yeah.
But yeah, you also have like some special items, like you can upgrade your defenses, but you can also like summon like a bolt of lightning to strike down enemies and things like that. I enjoyed it, but I don't really remember there being anything like really that stood out to me. That's like, wow, like, this is like really cool. But
I think I just looking briefly at the trailer, it was like, hey, oh, cool, you can kind of build your own pathway, which I don't know if you ever played it. Reminded me of Sanctum.
I did not play that one.
Sanctum was similar, where it was like a tower defense, but you were like, and you were building these towers, but you could pretty much like build a pathway of your own.
Okay.
And part of the strategy was finding the optimum path to build for the enemies to go through. So
Gotcha.
that's cool. So what's next?
So Life is Strange, it's kind of a fan favorite here at the PSNStores website, has announced that it has passed 1 million sales, and in addition, the episode 4 will be coming July 28th.
That's next Tuesday.
I'm excited. Let's, oh man, episode 3.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I mean, we talked and we were like, yeah, we could talk about this a ton.
Yep.
This week, but it's like, well, we don't want to spend too much because there would be a lot of spoiler talk, and we don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yep.
Other than to say you should go play Life is Strange. It's really good, and it's very deserving of that 1 million sales. Like it's, as someone who was a big fan of Remember Me, it's good to see Don't Non finding pretty big success in Life is Strange.
Yep.
And then you just finished episode 3.
I did. So
a few days ago.
It's convenient that I don't have to wait too long after
fresh in your memory.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
I couldn't bear like waiting as long as people who played it at launch would have to wait. It'd be rough.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it. Talking about it with my brother last night. Of like, it worked out. It's been working out perfect for them because the duration of their entire season will have lasted from like January through to probably the end of September.
Yeah.
Maybe into October.
Yep.
And if episode 5 like sticks to the landing, you could potentially see the discussion for this game having taken up the entire year.
Yep.
And that would work out really well for them come end of the year stuff.
Yep. But yeah, I think it's absolutely deserving.
Oh yeah.
We haven't talked about too much about Remember Me, but I would almost say Don't Nod is becoming a favorite developer of mine, which I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't want to spend too much
Yeah,
time on it because
we could spend more time, but
it's easy, especially unless we're getting towards the end of the season. It's easy to get into spoiler territory.
Exactly.
So let's not do that.
Yep. So next up, Chronicles of Teddy, Harmony of Exidus, and it's Exidus with an I, not an O.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting. It's coming from Axis Games, and it's coming to PS4 this fall. It's it looks like just like a 2D platformer. I think you had a little bit more information on it.
Yeah, so this was this week we actually got like the trailer for it. But this was actually announced a couple weeks ago at like the Anime Con at the Axis Games panel where they announced Zero Escape 3. This was one of the games they announced. And at that time, it was like, hey, this Chronicles of Teddy game is coming, but like we had no footage of it. We had like off-cam footage when they finally got the panel like archive up for people to watch. So it's kind of hard to tell. I think they described it as like a musical platformer. It's got a pretty neat like art style to it. Obviously, it's very much like indie 2D platformer kind of vibe going, but it's got a neat little like art style. You are searching for Teddy. That is kind of your goal. Apparently, there was a Teddy game, like Find Teddy, or I don't remember the name of it, but apparently this is like tied into some other game that was out a long time ago that I never heard of until just recently. But it looks pretty neat, and can never have enough games, right?
Absolutely, it's.
I like that. I like that every once in a while you have a developer that like takes a word like Exidus or just like any generic word, and it's like let's put an I instead of whatever. Mm-hmm. Like let's not spell it the way it's supposed to, because I don't know. Yeah. Why not?
Yep. And speaking of maybe some misspellings, it didn't happen with the sequel, but of course, Resident Evil Revelations 1 had some
Revelatons.
Yes, Revelatons. Speaking of Revelatons, Resident Evil Revelations 2 coming August 18th to PlayStation Vita, and it is going to be digital, so no physical release. And I've already seen some people commenting that they're going to, like, I guess there's an import version that has a physical copy that people want, so people are already upset that it's only coming digitally. But yeah, I have not played Resident Evil Revelations 2. I know. So
this is also, this is also coming with all of the content, all the DLC, and all that jazz.
Cool.
Do you know what the price was on that?
I wanted to say 30.
I think it was.
I want
to say it was.
Might be 40.
As I talk about this, you should pull that up.
Okay.
We should have wrote that down.
Good.
Yeah, so Resident Evil Revelations 2. I mean, I reviewed that earlier in the year, and I love it. Like, that game was something that, in the lead up to its release, I expected very little from, and it really surprised me at every turn. I love it. I really, really like Revelations 2. I need to go back and kind of finish up the platinum for it, because there's a few things I still need to do, but I really like that game. Is so much better than it probably had any right being. And if you haven't played it yet, then like you totally should. If you're obviously it's totally a game made for Resident Evil fans. Like, there's a lot of fan service in there, and it's if you are one of them, you should check it out. My only concern is honestly like nothing against the Vita, but I do wonder how it's going to perform on the Vita.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and I don't know if that was actual Vita footage that they showed. Like, they showed it kind of like cropped into a Vita, but it already looked kind of slow.
So I didn't. Really I haven't watched the trailer for it yet. But it wasn't it wasn't a looker. Mm-hmm. But I certainly I don't know. I just wonder if the Vita. I have to imagine the Vita will probably have some performance issues, and hopefully nothing too bad.
Yeah.
I'm personally probably. I don't think it's cross-buy.
Yeah, I don't think so. And the price is $40 on that.
$40. That's what I thought. And there isn't. I don't think there's any way to buy like episodes separately. You got to buy the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's especially because you could buy the full season for $25 on PS4. So it's a bit rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I guess if you don't own a PS4, this is probably good.
Yep.
And hopefully it runs fine. But yeah, that's.
Yep. So that's that. What's next?
Yeah, so we had a decent chunk of news, so we figured we'd split it up. Next, breaking news from earlier this morning. GALAK-Z apparently allows you to transform into a mech.
Alright.
There's no limitations on that. You can transform at any point, and you get your mech sword and all that good stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's. I mean, it totally fits with their theme of what that game is, anyways, and what they're trying to go for. But it's neat that we are a week and a half away from this game's release that we've known about for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
And here's some brand new thing that like no one knew about.
Yeah. My only thought is how the mech controls compared to the ship. I think we've talked about it a little bit, and even when I played this a while back and at an event, I found that the ship was kind of hard to control. So I wonder kind of how much different the mech is compared to just the base ship you have. So hopefully it's maybe got like a little bit better control, and I'm sure they've got a lot of those kind of issues and a lot of that feedback ironed out. But yeah, it's looks really cool. It's like, I think you got like kind of a sword you run around and swipe people with, and just what it from it looks like from the screenshots and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely pretty cool.
It's just a really cool addition, and it makes sense, like I said. Also, Infinifactory is announced coming to PS4. This is from Zachtronics. You may remember them. They put out a PS4 game earlier this year called Ironclad Tactics. It's something Brad and I talked at length about quite a bit. I believe we have a review of it up on the site. It was a cool like card-based kind of Civil War mixed with robots tactics game. Yeah, pretty cool. Infinifactory, I guess, is inspired by How It's Made, the TV show.
Yep.
We'll have the videos rolling now, so that's probably a pretty good explanation of what that game is. I guess it went into early access earlier this year.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to see it coming to PS4. I think it's neat that like this is inspired by How It's Made, because that show is like really fascinating.
Yeah, I really...
And it's cool to watch like the assembly line stuff, but
yeah, I actually, that's kind of a show that I watch, like when there's like absolutely nothing on. It's usually like on a Discovery or a Science Network or something, and I just sit back and watch it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks pretty intriguing. It just feels like there's thing that kind of looks to me is like it's like a puzzle game, and I wonder if there's like I wonder if there's many different ways to complete a puzzle. Like usually like kind of there's like, well, here's the one specific thing you have to do to complete a puzzle. I wonder if like you can do it different ways. Maybe. Yeah.
So also our last two news stories, Elliot Quest is announced coming to PS4, PS3, and Vita. So Elliot Quest, I own, and I've played the vast majority of it on Wii U. Came to PC and Wii U, I think, earlier this year. Elliot Quest, if you don't know, it's very heavily inspired by like Zelda 2, kind of that like side-scrolling, kind of gameplay there. But you play as this boy Elliot who has a bow and arrow, and so that is kind of his main weapon. You also get some like magical spells that you can use. A lot of like puzzle solving, and you get into these like dungeons that, again, if you've played Zelda 2, you kind of know how this game's structured. It's got a very similar overworld and things like that. It's a really cool game. It's got a great look to it. Like I said, I got close to the end and just kind of didn't really feel that strongly about finishing it, but I know I am pretty alone in that camp. I know a lot of people really like this game quite a bit. It's very hard. Much like Zelda 2, it is a very hard game, but it's really like the first half of it I really liked. It's just as I got further along, I just kind of lost interest, but it's a really cool game. It's cool to see it coming to PlayStation. And finally, Submerged is coming August 4th as well to PS4. And Submerged was announced back in April, but we got a new trailer for it, so it shows some more footage. I think before the show, we kind of both compared it to like Wind Waker meets Enslaved.
Yeah, definitely.
And that, the Wind Waker vibe is like you have this. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic world. You see like the skyscrapers coming out of the water, which that was immediately what gave me the Enslaved kind of vibes. But Wind Waker, that you just have this boat that you're kind of like exploring the water with and going around. I guess the story is that your brother is sick, and so you're kind of carrying him around with you as you journey, looking for some sort of thing to heal him or to cure him of his sickness. It doesn't look like there's any combat. It looks like it's mostly like kind of puzzle adventure. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just I believe it's an Unreal 4 game, and it just just looking at the trailer and then the screenshot, especially like when the character is up like on a perched on a high spot and then like looking at the vista around it, it looks beautiful.
Nice. So that's going to do it for our news. Typically, we would switch into a main topic. This week, actually, it looks like our news took up a decent chunk of time anyways. We were going to talk about Street Fighter V, the beta. But as many of you probably already know, I don't know that anyone's played the beta just yet.
I played the title screen where it said press any button, and I couldn't find the any button on my DualShock 4, so I guess I couldn't proceed. Yeah,
I ran into the same issue. So obviously that the beta has had some issues thus far. Hopefully we'll get some time this weekend. But other than that, there really wasn't anything huge this week that we felt like we could split into a main topic, and we didn't want to shoehorn anything in there. So with that, Collin, what's some stuff that people can check out on PSN stores?
So stuff you can check out. We've already checked it out probably. PSN Stores Podcast 149. We are one away from the big 150. We had a special guest on that podcast. I don't really remember who that was, but I bet if you listen, it might be a familiar voice. Then also the PSN Stores Dev Chat The Fall. We had that this week from Over the Moon Games, I believe.
From Over the Moon Games. And you should listen to that because we talk about sci-fi movies. We talk about... we went all over the place in that interview, but it was a lot of fun. John is a very cool dude.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that dev chat you guys did. It's awesome.
Nice. And so also some things that you can expect to come up on PSN stores. I mean, as usual, we'll have the episode 150 this week, so that'll be fun. I don't know if we have any big plans for it, but we'll see. We'll see when the time comes.
Yeah.
Also, we've got a good deal of reviews. So you're working on QUBE Director's Cut.
Yep. Probably expect a review in, I would say, next couple days. Beat it and enjoyed it. It's first-person puzzle game. It's definitely hard not to compare it to Portal. You kind of have like your test chamber rooms. You wake up, you don't really know who you are. But it's pretty good. Definitely expect a full review on the site coming in a few days.
Nice. I'm also working on a few different things actually. So we got Tembo, the Badass Elephant. Of course, that came out this week. I finished that up a couple nights ago. So definitely a review on that. That's a cool game, and that's all I'll say for now. It gets hard towards the end, kind of unexpectedly.
You were mentioning that. Yeah, it's
there's maybe a little frustration there, but
you played also this bird pigeon romance simulator.
Hatoful Boyfriend I have been playing, and boy, let me tell you, this game is a treat. It is, God, the gift that keeps giving. So I've been working my way because you gotta, it is a kind of pigeon dating simulator. It's kind of a very, very much a parody, very self-aware of what it is and what it's kind of making fun of, and it is hilarious. There's a ton of different endings. There's like 13 to get, and that unlocks like a final epilogue that kind of explains the entire premise. And I've heard that it's actually like really good. So I haven't got there just yet. I've got like most of the endings. I'm probably going to try to finish it up maybe later tonight. So a review of that will be coming as well, and that is something else. I introduced my friend to it last night, and we played through one of the endings, and we were just it was an experience. I'll say that. And then finally, I can finally talk about this. Feels like I've been working on this for a little while because we got codes early, luckily, because it is a long game. Lost Dimension. This game's coming to Vita next week. It is a strategy RPG. The way I think Atlas is pitching it is kind of like Valkyria Chronicles meets Danganronpa. And then the story has a lot of like you're voting people off, finding the traitor, So it's got a very similar premise, and then the gameplay is a lot like Valkyria Chronicles or even like an XCOM. But I have played through and finished that to completion,
Nice.
and we'll have a review of that. I don't remember the exact time of the embargo, but I want to say it's probably Tuesday morning of next week.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. It's Monday or Tuesday morning. I want to say it's Tuesday morning. I have to look at the embargo time again later. But that is kind of everything you can expect. There's more. There's going to be more stuff coming up on PSNStores, of course. But that's the things that we know for sure it's happening next week. You can follow us at PSNStores on Twitter. And then, Collin, where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me at BossmanCCrowder, 2 S's, 2 C's. Follow me. I'll follow you back probably if you're a fan. It's I enjoy interacting with people. It's I love Twitter. It's a great place to interact with people. So
sure.
Yep.
And then you can also find me at PS Penguin. These should all be on the slide, but just in case you're listening to it audio wise or something. If you have questions, you can send it at podcast@psnstores.com. Just make sure that you note that it's for the morning show, because we also use that, of course, for our podcast. So, Collin, once again, thanks for joining me on this beautiful morning.
Absolutely.
And I hope you enjoy your pancakes and waffles, and I hope everyone else is enjoying their day. Do you have anything else you want to end on?
I'm hungry. I don't know about you, but
all right.
I'm ready to eat.
All right. Well, everyone have a great weekend, and we will be back next Saturday.